In this video, I want to talk about why being emotionless is the most attractive trait a man can have. A matter of fact, this isn't even a trait, it is a skill that you personally can train and become better at because it's so fundamental as a man to be able to control your emotions. The reason for this is that if you're someone that's able to control your emotions, you can simply have control over your life. If you're someone that is able to control your emotions, you can have control over every single aspect in your life. Think about your mental health, think about your physical health, your relationships, your finances, and the list goes on and on. And this is a very important video, so definitely watch this video till the end if you are someone that's serious about becoming a better man, and if you're someone that wants to develop themselves into a man that they're really proud of. Because the thing about being an emotionless man is that you have so much control and so much power. You feel like you can do whatever you want and other individuals' emotions don't faze you, and that's amazing. And I'm not gonna act and lie like I've always been an emotionless man. The truth is that when I was young, I was quite emotional, quite sensitive, and I know a lot of you guys can relate. But throughout life and throughout the journey and all of the steps that we've taken, at some point we had some hardships, we hit rock bottom, and for a lot of us, we feel like there's no way out of it and we're stuck. And this is actually the moment that you develop yourself the most. And this is the moment you actually realize that there's more to life. And even though the life is against you, you can take the right steps and the right measurements to get yourself to the point where you want to be. And that's actually what happened to me as well. And that was the turning point where I decided to become more emotionless, where I decided to take more control over my life. And I want you to do that too. And another reason you want to become emotionless as a man is that when it comes to females, they've got more white brain mass, and that's the reason they are more emotional. And just generally speaking, when it comes to people that are more emotional, they tend to make more unlogical decisions. And that's not me bashing at females, that's just the nature that they've been given. Those are simply the cards that they've been provided, and thus that's one of the reasons they're looking for a real man, an individual that is emotionless, that can take the lead and help them out in this quest. And thus from a primal instinct perspective, this is another reason why it's very crucial for you as an individual to become emotionless, because this way you'll be able to be that stable man that the female is looking for, and because of this you'll have less hardships and more success. Because think about it, why do girls love to watch all of those dramas, all of those soap opera series, where every second it feels like it is the end of the world, every second something disastrous is happening, but the second after that everything is okay? The reason that those dramas and soap opera series are doing really well is because it plays with the emotions of those girls, gives them the positive emotions and the negative emotions that they're looking for, and that becomes very addictive. While on the other side, we as men, we just simply hate feeling any sort of negative emotions. It's almost like cancer for us. Our brain is wired in a way that every time we're feeling some sort of negative emotion, we're trying to get rid of it, or we're trying to find some sort of way or measurement to solve the problem. So neutral emotions and positive emotions are good for us, while when it comes to females, they love the positive and the negative emotions. That's another reason why it's super important as a man to become an emotional individual, because as a man, you don't want to be someone that gets swerved away and gets distracted by all of those negative emotions, because that's clearly something that females love to feel, and it's a part of their biology. And thus, if you are someone that is emotionless, if a female is showing all of those negative emotions, it doesn't faze you, and this way it won't distract you from your grind. And at the same time, since you are an emotionless individual, you are emotionally more stable, and thus you simply don't get caught in the drama. Because the thing about a lot of females is that they want to feel all of those positive and negative emotions, but they want you as the individual, the man, the emotionally stable individual in the relationship, to be like a rock hard stone in the fire. Even though there's fire everywhere, all sorts of drama is going on, positive emotions, negative emotions, it doesn't matter. They want you to be neutral. They want you to keep your calm composure. And that's one of the reasons it's very important as a man to be an emotionless man. Because this way you don't get caught in all of the drama. You'll be able to still focus on your grind. And at the same time, an emotionless individual is the most attractive individual. And thus it's very important to put yourself in a position where you can take other people's criticism. Put yourself in a position where other people's opinions don't faze you. And it clearly is very hard, because if you got friends and family that you really care about, if there's individuals that you look up to and they're criticizing you, obviously it will hurt you. Obviously it will have some sort of emotional impact, and that's completely fine. But the difference between an emotionless man And a normal individual is that an emotionless man, even though if he is feeling all of those feelings, even if he is feeling emotional at that time, is keeping it to himself and is not making a big deal about it. But hey, you might be saying this sounds very toxic, because if you're keeping all of your emotions to yourself, even though if you're clearly feeling them, it can severely affect your mental health. And yes, you're right, this is also one of the reasons that when it comes to a lot of men, that they commit suicide. They feel like that they don't really have someone to talk to. They feel like that they're getting overwhelmed, and there's a lot of burden and pressure put upon these men, and thus unfortunately they decide to take their life. But what's the solution for this? And if I have to be honest, it is very difficult and hard to give a concise answer when it comes to this hard question. Because the thing is, you want to be an emotional individual because this will really benefit your life. But at the same time, being an emotional individual can also put a lot of burden and a lot of pressure on you. So what do you do? Well, first of all, if you're an individual that becomes more emotionless, clearly you will have more control of your life, and clearly you'll be able to decide what you want to do with your life. Other individuals' views just simply don't matter to you. So this is a great way to reduce this problem, because if you as an individual, as a man, have more control over your emotions, it will really benefit you in life. But at the same time, it's also very important to find some sort of outlet, because we're only human after all. At some point, something will hurt us. At some point, we will feel those negative emotions, something that we clearly don't want to feel, because when it comes to those negative emotions, that is one of the reasons a lot of men decide to commit suicide, because unfortunately, it feels like that they are in a rut, they feel stuck, and it feels like there is no way out. And I'm not gonna lie, it is super tough if you are in a position like that. But that's when it matters the most to be an emotionless individual. If you are someone that's more of a positive individual, it will impact you less, because even though you're in a very negative state of mind, if you are someone that's leaning more towards positivity, you can get yourself out of this rut. Because remember, as a man, negative emotions are really bad. Neutral emotions are fine and positive emotions are fine. And thus, if you're in a rut, try to get rid of those negative emotions. Try to get rid of the situation that you're currently in, and try to focus on getting out of this situation. Because if you do so, you'll be able to become more emotionless, because this is the time that you as an individual really have the power to change your life. Because you're currently in a rut, you've got nothing that you want, and thus you can only go up from this point, because you're at rock bottom, right? And thus, if you are someone that's willing to put in the work, and if you are someone that's gonna develop themselves, because this is the point that you can really develop yourself in a person that you really want to be, you'll be really thankful, and this will be the way you can really become the emotional man and possess the most attractive trait a man can have. And I really felt like I needed to get this off my chest, because I feel like this is something a lot of individuals need to hear. Because when it comes to society at the moment, it feels like that it doesn't really appreciate men in the way they need to be appreciated, and at the same time, sometimes we as men feel quite confused, because from one perspective they tell us to act in a certain way, but at the same time our instinct says something else, and thus this really confuses us. And thus I hope this will give you some sort of outline and will help you to adjust in this modern world, where you can still be yourself by being this masculine man without having all of those individuals screaming toxic masculinity. Because acting like you're some sort of alpha male and thinking you're gonna own everything, dominate everything, clearly isn't the way to go. But at the same time, if you are someone that's able to become more emotionless, you'll be able to have more control over yourself. And even though there's a lot of external factors you don't have any control over, it doesn't matter. As long as you've got control over yourself, you can give your all, and this way you can become the person you're proud of and get the results you want. And thus, thank you so much for watching. I just wanted to be real in this video and spit some facts. And if you want me to make more videos like this or any other topic related to this, definitely let me know in the comment section down below, and I will make it happen. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I genuinely appreciate your time, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye bye.